You don't have to give them anything else. You don't even have to give them the tent. And then you can get, you'd be surprised, like anywhere from $25 a night up to, I've seen as much as $75 and even $100 a night, depending on the location, for just a piece of land. Hey, and welcome to another episode of Women Creating the Wealth, the show where we show you how to have more money, more options, and more fun by using real estate as an investment. And today we're going to talk a lot about house hacking with no money and no house, okay? You're going to house hack with no money and no house. And we're not even going to talk yet about rental arbitrage, which falls into this category, but I wanted to spend a whole thing talking about that. So, all right, you say to me, Chris, I got nothing. I got no money. I got no options. I got no fun. What can I do? Take a look on something like Airbnb and reconceptualize it, okay? For example, you want to start at the very most basic level. So you find somebody in a nice location where people want to visit who has some land, okay? All you need right now is one person who has some empty land that they're not using. And it doesn't have to be a lot. It can just be somebody who has a big backyard. And you say to them, hey, you got this big backyard and it's not making you any money. How about if I rent a little piece of your big backyard and I'm going to put it on Airbnb and travelers are going to come and they're going to put their tent on your land and they're going to pay me and I'm going to pay you. What do you think? Now, that could be somebody who has just a big space like a farmer. It could be somebody who has a treed lot where you could just, have a little clearing where somebody could put their tent. And that's day one. All you're doing is you're making an arrangement with a property owner of how this could work with them. You're not supplying anything, okay? Maybe you can you can tell people they've got to bring their own water. They've got to, you're going to have some type of a compostable toilet or something like that. But you can just build a little hut, put a compostable toilet, and then you don't have to give them anything else. You don't even have to give them the tent. And then you can get, you'd be surprised, like anywhere from $25 a night up to, I've seen as much as $75 and even $100 a night, depending on the location, for just a piece of land where somebody can put their tent. If you want to go up a level now, like say that you take the first few weeks of income and you're going to pop it up a notch and get more rent, you can now build a little tent platform. So you just, get a friend, build some little 2x4s just to get people up off the ground, a teeny bit. It only has to be like 6 inches off the ground. And now you make it a big platform where people can now put their tent. And then if you want to even bring it more, you could bring like a hose so that they could have a place to fill their water jugs and stuff like that. Now you can get even more money for that place. And now let's say that you've done that for a few weeks or months and you're ready to go up to the next level. Now you go on, and there's some beautiful ones on Etsy. They have these tents and they're gorgeous. They're like huge canvas tents, and you can put a wood stove in there. Not that you necessarily want to do that. You can put a permanent bed in there so that people can just bring their sleeping bags and stuff. They're in a bed that's off the ground. You can just keep going like a little more deep and deep if you want to reinvest your money, which I highly recommend. Now, all of a sudden, you can get $125 a night, $150 a night for this, basically a little tent platform with a little tent that's in a piece of land that you don't even own. And there are, if you don't want to do a tent, there's all kinds of little, there's like those inflatable dome things. You can get some really creative, imaginative things. Like imagine like what you could write in your thing. Oh, a night under the stars. You can see the stars from your dome and it's so beautiful and blah, blah, blah. As long as you're 100% explaining to the people what they get, what they don't get. Obviously you want to sell it, but you don't want any bad reviews because you'll be dead in the water if your first few reviews are not good. So just, so is this like starting your wheels turning? You can be like, oh my God, I just need a piece of land. And it doesn't even have to be my piece of land. If you happen to have a piece of land, you have a backyard, Okay, so now what's the next level up? Let's talk about, do you know anybody who has a mobile home? Do you know anybody who has a boat that you can sleep on? Those are two actually really popular rentals on Airbnb. People are looking for a unique experience. And a night out on a boat, it doesn't have to go anywhere. You don't have to give people the keys to the boat. They're just going to sleep in the boat. And, you just Tell them which dock to go to. And again, your friend has a boat that's just sitting in the dock day after day. And you say to yourself, this thing is just sitting in the dock. It's not doing anything. It's not making anybody any money. Dude, how about this? I'm going to put this on Airbnb for you. I'll take care of the cleaning. And, I'll keep 40% or I'll keep 60% and you keep 40% or we split it 50-50, however it works out. But for a night out on a boat, you're looking at over $100 in many markets. I mean, and this is where we get into the research. You want to look, you want to see, is this already out there on Airbnb? Are there already people doing this? And if so, how much are they charging? Because don't think that your boat's going to make $100 a night when everybody else's is making 45. So be realistic when you talk to your friend and be realistic when you have your own projections. Remember, somebody's got to clean this. You can get a cleaning charge on Airbnb, but you just need to know whether you can actually get a cleaner for that amount of money. So, okay, we'll get into the nuts and bolts a little bit more of that afterwards, but that's the next step. So find somebody who has a boat or who has a camper or who has a mobile home, something like that, that's just sitting there collecting dust that you can put out there on Airbnb. An important thing to remember is that this person has to tell you when they want to use that for themselves so that you can block it off on Airbnb because, you can't have them driving off in the camper when you've got people pulling into the driveway to stay there. So think about those kinds of things. And the last one that we want to talk a little bit about for you that you have zero money at all, nothing. So this is, you don't even have enough to put down a down payment on an apartment to do rental arbitrage. This is like you have absolutely nothing. What about your existing house? Where do you live, right? You've got to be living someplace. I know people who have rented out their own bedroom. So maybe they live there, they have roommates, and they've said, you know what? I stay with my partner a couple times a week. I'm going to rent my bedroom out every weekend and I'm going to go stay with my partner. I mean, this is for people who have nothing. If you have something, next week we're going to talk about ways that you can take a little bit of money, and it might be the little bit that you made from this initial endeavor, and turn that into something else using rental arbitrage. But for this week, let's just recap. We're only talking about people who have absolutely nothing, no money. First thing, you can go and talk to somebody who who has a little bit of extra land, and then you're going to rent that out as a campsite. Minimal, there has to be some place for people to use the bathroom. And when you do your Airbnb posting, you're going to give lots of photos. You're going to list all the amenities that you get and all the amenities you don't get. If you can put a picnic table there or even a couple of Adirondack chairs or something like that. When you're doing your Airbnb posting, you always want to think about, what would I want if I were in this situation? You don't necessarily, I would say for sure you don't want to do this in a place where there's a lot of noise that sounds like the city because people want to be feeling like they're away. You can just find a farmer, find a person with a wooded lot, and approach them about sharing this land with you and allowing you to share the money with them. That's the very lowest level, just a flat piece of land. The next level above that, put a little tent platform on that land. Just some 2x4s, some decking. Won't cost you more than probably a couple $100 to build this tent platform. And now you're offering drier, more level, more consistent experience, and people are willing to pay a little bit more for that. You want to go to the next level, then you can bring it more up to a glamping experience where you're providing the tent. There's like a cot or a bed in the tent. Already people aren't sleeping on the floor. You've got a nice comfortable mattress. There's some lighting. Still, doesn't have to be water, but there does have to be a way for people to use the bathroom. And that is actually normally the prices you can get for that type of an experience. For a glamping experience, you can normally get as much as you can get as people are paying to stay in hotels in that area. So that's one way that you can do some research on whether this is worth your while. Do I want to spend, $500 or $1,000 to build a platform and put up a permanent tent with a bed and all of that stuff? My suggestion is that you start off at the beginning if you don't have any money, and then you just reinvest for at least the first 6 months to create a really nice, imagine you show up for your glamping experience and there's some solar lights there, and there's a little maybe picnic table or a couple of Adirondacks, and you go inside and there's some lighting all around the perimeter of the tent, and there's a little comfy bed with maybe a little mosquito netting over it, and it's so romantic. I mean, people are willing to pay a lot for that, and your investment is extremely minimal. And then again, the next level is someone who has some type of partnering with someone who has some type of a recreational vehicle, whether it be a boat, whether it be a camper, whether it be an RV, and some type of a motorhome, things like that. That's another fantastic experience that you can offer. And that brings us to the final no cost, no investment option, is to create an experience on Airbnb. An experience can be everything from you giving somebody a tour of your town to like a pub crawl, to like hunting in the backwoods, to taking people on a fishing excursion, whatever hobby you have. I mean, I know there are ones that just give people tours of art galleries in the area. You know your city better than the people who are coming here to stay on vacation. And many people are willing to pay for that experience. And why not let them pay you for that experience? So start your research by going on to Airbnb and searching for experiences, and they have another one which is called unique stays. So look for those unique stays and see if there's something that you could do to create a unique stay that doesn't require you to actually own any property or put down any money in advance. And good luck. You're going to do awesome and amazing. And I'm so excited that you were ready to start your journey to getting some passive income coming in. And next week, we're going to talk even more detail about ways that you can make money without owning anything of your own or without having a ton of money. So next week, you're going to have to have a little bit of money for next week. So maybe you better start this stuff right away. Thanks so much for joining us today. I'm so psyched that you are here and that we're doing this real estate journey investing together. Have a fantastic week.